Okay. So Rahel probably is not available to talk right now. Can I go to Lori Odeyemi? Lori, can you hear us? Okay. If you can just type into the yeah, can you turn on your microphone and then turn on your camera too and then speak? Or you can unmute. All right, that's okay. Who's willing to volunteer? Let me get the next person. Wamuyu, would you like to go for us? Wamuyu Wanjui. Okay.
Hi, good
Ada.
afternoon.
Okay, we can hear you now. Can we see your face too, if that's possible?
Okay, Sawa. Here's my face. As you can see. So I'm sorry,
Um,
I joined in late. What are we supposed to be saying?
yeah, so I just trying to tell us about how your week has been, the good, the whatever has been for you. Just sharing that with all of us today.
All right. So last week, I enjoyed myself, to be honest, because there was a lot of reading to be done, and I thrive in that kind of environment. And as for the model, it was basic for me. It was more of identify the repository, identify the variables that I need to change in the model, run it, and see if if that could work for me. So that wasn't very tricky for me. And I'm also going to enjoy this week. I can tell already. There's some reading to be done. Yeah. So and then last week I really, 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 really enjoyed the teamwork because it pushed me to work on other people, like to work with other people's strengths. So yes,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. Yeah, that's for me.
That's super awesome. And I hope you stay online so we can continue with the session. So this is super awesome. I'm really happy to hear from Elvis, Biniyam, Wanjui, and I hope that we can get talking as we continue with this session. So every Mondays are usually for mental health, well-being, and I decided to take this to a different level, realizing that most of you are lost within work. You have so much to do during the day, so it gets so difficult for you to concentrate and also participate in the CBAs, which are equally important as well. So taking the larger voice, trying to do our first video and see how that goes. The goal is just to get you to disconnect and for you to talk freely. This is a safe space. I believe we all are aware of wherever we are from. So then, whatever we talk about, we should talk about it in that light that your other colleague will feel comfortable to talk to you about it. So this morning, it's just going to be a different style altogether. So mental health, how have you been? I know that most of you, as it were, can see the pressure that is coming. And the last time we talked about anxiety and we took a test on you getting to know how anxious you are and what do you do when you're in this moment, right? Uh, we will tell stories, right? We will tell stories. So I would say that for me, whenever I get really anxious, the best approach I use would be to disconnect, like just get off my laptop or wherever, whatever I'm doing and walk around. And it's not always that easy because you have timelines. You want to do ABC. So just tell me, anyone who is ready to go in a fun way, tell me a time where you were really frustrated. It shouldn't probably be related to what we're doing now. It could just be a story, something that you've really been anxious about, and how were you able to navigate your way around it to get through to where you are, and maybe someone can pick one or two things from your experience. So if you're ready to do that, just put your name in the chat box. Tell us about uh, what challenge, what anxious moment you've had before, and how were you able to overcome that, and some good moments or some bad moments, whatever it is, let's learn about it, but in a fun way. So then we know that we are building on the relationship we have here as a team going forward. So anyone ready, just unmute your microphone and then you can turn on your camera if you have the bandwidth so we can hear you. Ada, would you like to go for us? Because I'm still going to volunteer someone, let someone volunteer to go.
Not now, not now.
Not now. Okay. All right. Okay. Who's ready to go? Did I see Kevin? Okay. So the question is, you should be able to tell. So Ada, tell us about one anxious times you've had in the past, a time that you were anxious about something, right? And what did you do? How did you connect? Like this time around, telling a story about yourself in a more fun way. Let's get to connect. And the goal is for us to really not be extremely formal about this, but just be a bit informal and get to have fun before we get back to our next task. So now the question is much clearer. Could you please take off right now? Yeah.
Okay, okay. So I'm not really sure if this example falls under anxiety, but I'll just say it. During my final semester, I was supposed to do well, it's the normal thing to have a final semester project, and time was really closing in, and I had nothing to give the my professor. So I was really worried. I mean, I had to be graded and I had nothing to give. So just um, I went with the first idea that popped to my head and I wrote a proposal on it, submitted it to my professor, and shockingly, the guy said it was really nice and I survived.
Wow.
Does that count?
Yeah, it does. Like this is something that I want us to talk about. Bini, are you excited about her story? I mean, it doesn't have to be the same way. Look at you. You weren't sure. You weren't able to fully finish up with your final year project. Final year project means that if you don't get it done, you are likely not to go graduate, right? So you are not being unable to do that. But at a point in time, you figure out this is what you can do right now. You submitted it, and that was it. I mean, life shouldn't always be like that where we always want things to go wrong in as much as it might go wrong at any point in time, but with a desire to want to see things happen differently. So that approach is really exciting, and I think this is something we can all learn, that you might not be fully having the capacity to get something done at a point in time. You just try to disconnect, figure out what you can do better. I think around that time, Ada was probably stressed out. I mean, the fact that she had to figure out how she can get this done, then coming back and say, no, I don't have to. I need to present what I have. That was a game changer. So the next person who's ready, just unmute your microphone and tell us about anything anxiety, anything mental health, anything you've been through. How were you able to cope with it, and how can we learn from you? Yeah, going forward with your experiences. Yeah. Who's ready to go? Uh, Gerard? Gerard, can you hear me?
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah, I can hear you. So,
Right.
For me, I'd say after the first or the second week of 10 Academy, I've always known like my problem. My problem is usually like keeping up with the people's schedules. Like I always prefer to like to go at it alone. So here came 10 Academy, and you had a schedule. You had like interim submissions, then you had final submissions. So even the first 2 or 3 weeks, I think most of my submissions were late. So I reached out to a colleague in the team, and then I told them my problem. I told them I can do this, I can do that, but the problem usually is that uh, I prefer to work on like my own schedule. So adjusting to something that's been set for me usually like hard. So after explaining to them my problem, so the person just agreed and said that, okay, this is what we'll do. I'll help you. So what we have to do is that both of us have objectives that we have to meet by the end of the day. So every day at the end of the day, the person checks, oh, where are you? Where have you reached? So with time, I found myself now, I have daily objectives and I struggle to meet them. But now the problem is last week the person was caught up. So I was on my own again. Yeah. So I
So
tried.
it's more like it's more like going back to how you would love to work as someone who loves to work independently, right?
Yeah, but they still checked up on me, but now it was not on a daily basis. But at least I'm
Right.
trying, and I'm really hoping that by the end of the like 12 weeks, I want it to be something that's I can also do it on my own. So I
Right.
really appreciate.
Right. That's good. And I totally understand that this last week was to, I mean, get us into working in teams. And like I've always been stressing that when you move out from this space, you're going to be working with teams in as much as you have to take decisions on your own, get things running from start to the end. You should be willing to seek for help when you need it. I mean, I could say I used to be one who loved to work all by myself. Like I still do, but now I have really understood that something that could take me more than an hour to do because I think I want to figure it out, it could actually take less than an hour. So if I ask maybe Ada or Gerard or Wamuyu or Abubakar, anyone who has that experience, it will cut my time. So it's good we keep that synergy working in teams, and then we'll be able to figure out how we can get things done on time. Right. So the next person to also share and wow us with um, an unsure story of his or hers in the past and how you were able to change it shouldn't be shouldn't be something that you find very difficult to share. It should be a bit informal because we want to connect with each other here. So if you're ready, just unmute your microphone and then speak to us. Right. Do you guys want me to take on someone? I think that would work. Okay, so Jola, can you please go for us?
Oh, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I just joined, so I didn't get your question very well.
Okay, so you're sharing with us anytime you've been anxious in the past and how have you were you able to handle that? Just tell us a story, something that you've been through, because today is mental health and well-being. We want to learn from you.
Oh, okay. Actually, wow. Where can I start from? Okay. Personally, my journey from data science has become quite quite funny because uh, I want thanks to Ten Academy again because I actually have seen a lot of progress from what I've been doing. So because one thing I have actually benefited from this program is before that thought process of tackling challenge has been an issue for me, because sometimes if I see something that I want to do, maybe a particular project that I see very interesting, what I do is that I go on YouTube and I will download a full course on that particular, maybe K-means. I would download maybe 12 videos of going to 6 hours just to learn on K-means clustering. So before I would start working on the project, it would take me maybe 2 or 3 weeks, because I started learning Tableau some months ago, and it took me, let's say, 4 months for me just to get my hands, just know the basics of Tableau and things like that. So when I started this program, I knew that okay, my approach of solving problems, of tackling project, has been so not the right way, because I see that for just a single week I can learn a lot more and I can do a lot. So for the theme of how I collaborate with my colleagues, I most of the times the group actually made me connect more with my colleagues, because I uh, I haven't been able to talk mostly with them on the channel. Just briefly, just ask for challenge. And but one thing I do most of the time is that I know this, it might be embarrassing, but is that I look at the GitHub profile for our colleagues. Some of the members that do challenge me to do more. Yeah, I will say Emmanuel, I will say Patrick, I will say Adaki. Actually, those guys do motivate me to do more. Most especially Adaki is mostly from the week one. Sometimes if we're given a challenge, I just go to our repository to check. I will see that she has already completed it. I will say, how is this girl doing this thing? How is this lady doing it? Does she sleeps? I was so surprised and say, oh, I have to wake up in the night, I have to work harder and things like that. So for the challenges, most of the corrections have been coming from the work of Patrick, Emmanuel. I do go to their page, I do check uh, what they have done, the solution, and correct it with mine. Then I've seen that I've made a lot of progress, a lot and a lot. Basically, before, chatting has been a very busy, serious issue for me. When I see anything chat, I do run away. I hate math topic, like I hate it. When I say I hate math topic, I hate it. So, but it's kind of easy for me now. Within 2 weeks, I even started going to Plotly to start working on Plotly, and I'm seeing that Plotly is very very nice. So I want to say thank you. It's been a wonderful experience for me. Thank you.
Yeah, super awesome. Thank you, Jola. I think there's so much to learn from you, and I've taken note of your colleagues that you've mentioned, and very important. I think we'll be wrapping up right away because our next session bioanalysis should be starting now. I'm sure in our next session again, we'll be able to hear from everyone. So don't leave the channel. I will just end the recording so then we can begin the session with our next person who is one of the training. He passed through the training program 2019. I'm sure you might have heard of his name, Abibao. He'll be talking on bioanalysis. So do stay on. Welcome, Patrick. I hope you all enjoyed this session for today, our first CBA on teammates. Great.